The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Now broadcasting from the Right to Offend Media Studios in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, art, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report Live with Sam Whitfield.
Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Whitfield Report. And, well, apparently there's a party going on. So yeah, we're doing a impromptu Friday edition of the show because we were supposed to have Bits and Bones tonight since it is Friday. But our mighty host, Morpheus, has power issues. About an hour before the show, he texted me and said that there were power issues, um, in his area. So, but
Also, by the way,
since we didn't.
sorry about the noise. My bad.
Oh, no problem. So, last week, Mort and I kind of just hosted the show ourselves. Both Joe and Tim were absent last week, but this week Mort kind of wanted to kind of pick up the conversation we had last week with EA, being acquired by the Saudis and Jared Kushner, and since Joe and Tim weren't here last week, we kind of wanted to give them an opportunity to do that. Since we're not doing Bits and Bones, we figured we would have the same conversation here on tonight's Whitfield Report. So, welcome to my humble abode, gentlemen. How are you doing?
I'm not bad. I was out fishing last weekend with my boys, and I was up at Lake Winnipesaukee, so I was driving back late Friday night. And
Awesome.
yeah, that's what I was doing. Plus, dude, it's so ugly online. I just haven't dealt with any of this shit online. So, to be honest,
man,
everyone's so fucking ugly. I just don't want any part of it right now.
Yeah, it's really, like, not to dive too far off topic, but, like, it's really hard to, stay on social media for that long just because, like, really, and I mean, I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, and I'm sure people are sick of me talking about this, but it's like, after the whole Charlie Kirk thing and just how ugly people have been about that, surprisingly, it's like, why do I even wanna be on, social media that much with all the ugliness that's going on? I mean, obviously, like, I do a news show, on Wednesdays, so I kinda have to, keep up somewhat on what's, going on, but more
Right, but that
often than
doesn't mean
not, like,
people don't have to be that fucking ugly. And it's gotten
yeah.
it's gotten a lot worse. And I've seen a lot of shit in the last 5 years. But since the Charlie Kirk incident, it's got like it's more annoying now to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been, social media has always kind of been shit to a degree, but I think the one thing that has really kind of surprised me about, and I mean, I unfortunately, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but like, I even heard Joe Rogan talking about this yesterday with Jack Carr, who, as many of you know, is one of my favorite authors, and he's a Navy SEAL. But Jack Carr was saying, like, his appearance on Rogan, he's like, I've seen some, nasty shit, during my time with the SEAL teams, but I've never seen people just, like, openly celebrating someone's, cold-blooded murder on social media. Um, like, openly doing it too, like, not even trying to be, like, anonymous or anything like that. That's a new one. So,
Yeah, I can imagine what he's seen in real life, but yeah,
Yeah.
the online shit, it's too much, and it's not just that. It's everyone in their theology debates, and they debate about every little thing, and I'm just like, I got better shit to do, honestly. Like take my boys
yeah.
fishing.
Yeah, good on you, man. I'm glad you were able to do that, and, I mean, not that gaming isn't, I mean, it is important to some people, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter a whole lot. So, like, I'm glad you're able to do that,
I
so
even took
and
a night off from
spend time
playing
with your
Halo,
kids
so
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's also another thing I do
So,
want to talk about. Um, Another thing, I think a lot of people are just like, this is so stupid. You know what? Being in real life is way better rather than being on the internet, and especially with the resurgence of like AI being very close to the point where like these videos are getting to the point where they actually are like realistic. I think a lot of people are going to be like, you know what? We can't even trust the news sources or even any other kind of videos. We just got to go ahead and just watch it for ourselves and actual word of mouth kind of style news.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's something too that, like, that kinda, like, that kinda freaks me out because, like, like, uh granted, I've said, I guess, I've said some things that could be considered controversial on the show before, but for the most part, I've always, tried to, like, keep things above board, but what if someone, were to say, like, "Oh, you said something, like, absolutely horrific, like, I hate black people," or something, just as an example, and then I could be like, "Well, I never said that," and then someone could make up, like, a video of me saying that looks, just like me or, something like that, and, like, how could someone like me defend, against that or something like, it is that is as much of a proponent as I am for AI as, like, I think it can do a lot of good, like, it definitely has the potential to be dangerous too. So,
It does. It's getting pretty wild. I saw
yeah.
on YouTube Shorts they're having like uh, Tupac still alive and in wrestling and coming down the ring
Dude,
and
I
calling out people like Easy E and Biggie. I was like, I mean, that's kind of funny, but
I saw a video. Yeah, I saw one of those AI videos yesterday of, like, it was it was Adolf Hitler and Abraham Lincoln at WrestleMania 2000,
Jesus.
and,
I
like,
saw a Hiller one too where he was a U he just won a UFC fight.
yeah, 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 that was another one. It's like like, the Abe Lincoln one I saw, Abe Lincoln is like, "Well, you're just like a cold-hearted bastard who like murders people, and then Hitler's like, oh well, like you wear a fun hat, kind of like one of those Jews or something like that, and
Wow.
it's just like like as far as like the premise for a fight, it's like I'm there for it, but it's like wow, like the fact that they made it realistic too is like it's like wow.
Right?
So
They need that on Celebrity Deathmatch. Adolf and Abraham. Celebrity Deathmatch.
they had like um they had one that like there was one that I thought was actually kind of real, and it was Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross, like, on the Joy of Painting show, like, painting a
Oh,
photo together.
yeah.
I'm like and I actually had to look that one up because I'm like because, like, I couldn't remember it, and, like, I guess Mr. Rogers had, like, already, like, retired and whatnot by the time Bob Ross, but, like, still, they were both on, PBS, and they were both
Right.
kinda in that same vein, so it's like, yeah, I had to look that up to because, like, that one I thought could have been, like, real, and, like, I just might not have, seen that one, but, yeah, it's like, that one's harmless, but even so, it's like, wow. So, yeah. But, anyway, the AI thing kinda does tie into, the Saudi Arabia thing because, in case you don't know, I guess Electronic Arts, which used to be publicly traded, they recently got, like, bought out completely by Saudi Arabia, which I have mixed emotions on. But one of the things that, like, I guess the Saudis are looking to do is they're looking to, like, use AI as, like, to make, like, programming more efficient and whatnot, so there are lots of deals. And supposedly Jared Kushner is invested in this too, which Tim might know a bit more about that than I do. So, but um, I guess how do you guys feel about like the Saudis purchasing EA, or do you guys not really
Seems like Saudi's
have
got
an
their hands
opinion?
in everything. Well, they're about
Yeah,
to get their hands in everything. Uh, that's pretty wild, man.
yeah. I mean,
Why can't we just like? Why can't America just do it? Like, isn't it an American company?
um, I think so, but I can't remember. Let me actually look that up.
Didn't they started as sports? I remember us talking about it a little bit a couple weeks ago. I remember EA from EA Sports Game.
Yeah, well, that's always been like one of their big things, going like all the way back to the '90s. But then let's see here. Uh, okay. No, I don't. Okay. When was EA?
It is kind of interesting that Saudi Arabia, like WWE goes there for events now, and Triple H is kind of lined up with the administration for some health project or whatever. I saw that I don't know, that was what, a month ago or something. And Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education, trying to get rid of the Department of Education. It is all kind of weird.
Yeah. So, from what I from what I'm seeing here, and I'm using Perplexity, since it's kind of like research based, but EA Games was founded in 1982. So wow, they've been around a while. Okay, let me see though. Is EA an can
You know, I will say, I mean, Electronic Arts really did make a lot of good games, all things considered. Uh,
y-
uh, like
yeah, they did.
like there was a lot of good hits. There
Okay.
was a lot of good games like Need for Speed, and then also like you had like Dead Space. You had a bunch of other ones that are just fantastic. And like they were kind of going down the toilet, especially with Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Uh, Also, like the Anthem game was pretty god awful, and like you know, being a publicly traded company really does like bring your shit down the drain, just to say the very least.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of I think that's kind of the bigger story here is that they are like being like privately acquired. Um, let's see. All right, let's see what. Uh, okay, so from what I'm reading here, from Perplexity, and this is kind of like combining a couple. This is like from game developer and others. So, uh, EA was acquired in a landmark $55 billion deal leveraged buyout announced on September 29th, 2025, led by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund alongside private equity from Silver Lake and Affinity Partners, an investment firm established by Jared Kushner. Under the terms of the deal, Saudi Arabia will become the major shareholder and EA will be taken private, uh, making one of the largest gaming and private equity transactions in history. The acquisition is part of Saudi Arabia's broader 2030 vision to strengthen. Excuse me. The acquisition is part of Saudi Arabia's broader Vision 2030 strategy to diversify its economy beyond oil and invest heavily in global gaming, esports, and cultural ventures. The move makes Saudi Arabia a central player in the gaming industry, with industry observers noting that the country views gaming as a new cornerstone of global influence and economic development. Operationally, EA will continue to be headquartered in Redwood City, California, and its current CEO Andrew Wilson will remain in position. The deal expected to close by June 2026, subject to regulatory approval, allows EA to focus longer term on innovation and potential expansion in esports and cross platform experiences. with no immediate impact on existing games or player services anticipated. This unprecedented move is seen as both a financial and cultural play by Saudi Arabia, aiming to combine capital investment with the acquisition of global cultural legitimacy through entertainment and gaming assets. So yeah, that's kind of like a brief overview, I guess, of the acquisition. I mean, it is wild that like I guess just gaming now in general is like considered like it is like the largest growing like entertainment
Platform.
medium now. Like it's bigger than movies and like well, I mean, television Max and I were talking about this in Discord today. Like television as like a technical medium is dying because like no one really watches like TV in the terrestrial sense anymore, really. Um, but like streaming has kind of just taken over television, and like no one goes to the movie theaters anymore. Um,
Netflix is probably the only place that people go to now.
and even Netflix, like, they've kind of taken like a big hit with like all the woke stuff, but like, yeah, like streaming in general is where people are going. And like I've said this before on like the live show and on the Monday show too. Like I think one of the problems with movies in particular is they kind of like I definitely think streaming, like, did have an effect, no doubt about that, but it's like the movie industry kinda priced themselves out of the market too because it's like, would you rather spend, like, $60 for a family of 3 or 4 for, like, 1 movie? Or would you rather spend, like, $20 a month max on, like, a streaming service? That's like, top tier,
Yep.
no like ads, stream it in 4K. That's like the most expensive like, Netflix package. And it's still cheaper than like going to like a movie
Right.
now.
True.
That's true.
So
Except they went so fucking woke with their material, their products are just shit. I don't even have Netflix anymore. I mean, I have other streaming
well
services, but they did do something good. They put Hollywood in
well
their
yeah.
place.
Well yeah, I mean and when I mean Netflix, like, yeah, they're having issues, but like what I mean is just like streaming in general has kind of taken over like
Absolutely.
you
And
know
Netflix kind of started that is what I mean. Like
yeah, yeah.
they put Blockbuster down from what I understand. I never went to Blockbuster. I knew of Blockbuster. Even those movies when I was a kid were overpriced to rent. We went to the local grocery store and we rented movies and then we bought movies. But then Netflix came along and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Blockbuster's whole problem was that really killed Blockbuster because, like I may be the youngest one here, but I am, well, Tim and I are kind of around the same age, but like I
Yeah.
definitely remember, I remember, I remember Blockbuster too, and I mean, the thing that killed Blockbuster was the late fees because and unfortunately, like, that's kinda how they made their money, but it's like, um, like, if you rented a movie for the weekend, like, mom and dad would have to, like, get it back to, you know, the store by, like, Monday at, like, 9 a.m., and that obviously wasn't gonna happen because, you know, they've got work or something, right? So, like, you know, those n those late fees kinda stacked up, and then once, once Netflix came out, like, in the audi and, some of the younger audience might not know this, but, like, Netflix got their start by, like, doing DVD mailers, and they had
I remember
everything,
that. I remember
and
that.
Yep.
y
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yep. You can
no, it
keep it
was
as long
like
as you want it up until you can go ahead and return it and then get a new movie. Like that was pretty cool.
yeah, well, then I remember, like I remember, like, my I think it was my sophomore year of high school, um, like, we got they had, like, a deal where you could, like, rent up to, like, 5 movies a month, and then, like, you know, you could watch, like, 5 movies at a time, which we did, which was awesome, and then we'd return them. And then, like, I remember my I think it was, like, my senior year of high school, like, that was when they started to, like, do, like, the streaming thing, and, because, like, people had Apple TVs and Rokus and stuff that you could just stream it, and that was, like super cool.
Yeah, it was
It
pretty
was like,
revolutionary.
wow. Yeah, so and, like, like, I remember too, like, when that streaming service came out, like, y that you used to be able to, like, stream everything on Netflix, and now streaming has become, like, so segregated, it's almost, like, it's almost, unfortunately, it's become kinda like cable, ironically.
Which is honestly
So,
pretty awful. Which is like because everybody wants to go ahead and have their rights to their own things. They don't want to go ahead and give their own money to their own shows and not make any money out of it. And it's just dumb. It's getting dumber and dumber by the day, honestly.
It, it's definitely all getting dumb.
well, and, like, that's also, like, that's the other thing too is, like, Max and everyone, like, kinda jokes, like, I mean, everyone says, "Well, Sam, it would be awesome if if you could get your books, like, made into a movie or made into a show." And, like, that would be awesome, but, like, I've heard stories from, like, other authors now of, like, trying to get their books, like, optioned to be made into movies or, things like even adapted into video games now is, like,
Yeah, you
it's
have
like
to
a
find someone that's got the best pockets.
well, and not just that, but it's like okay, if you wanna get, like, your book or your original, like, creative thing, like, made into a video game or made into a movie, it's like are they gonna let you have any creative control, or are they just gonna tell you to, like, fuck off and,
Right. Here's your
you
money.
know
I'm gonna pay you for this, and I'm gonna fuck the whole thing up, like they did with Witcher.
yeah, exactly, and it's like it's like I've told people, yeah, I would love it if I could, like, get Shadows of Deception, like, made into a movie or a video game, but it's like, and I understand that you have to change, like, some things, right? To make, like, adaptable for, like, a movie and whatnot, but it's like, I'm never gonna let, like, someone just, like, change the overall, like, concept of like the story or anything like that, because you know that's not my vision that I want people to see if someone else changes it completely.
Right. Well, here's an
So
example. I watched the movie Forrest Gump before I read the book, and they're nothing alike. I mean, there's some general points from Forrest Gump the movie, but the book is way fucking different. I read it in
yeah,
2 days. It was a really good book. I was like, I wish they would have made this movie or this book into a movie, but there's no way they could have.
yeah, I,
There's no way. Not even then. That was in the 90s.
yeah. I've heard that actually. So same with well, I mean, same thing with Rambo actually. I actually heard an interview with with David Morrell, who wrote Rambo, who wrote the novel of Rambo, and uh, I don't know if either of you know this. I I assume both of you have seen Rambo, right?
Yeah, long, long time
The,
ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, I didn't even know that was a book.
I didn't know
yeah,
it was either.
yeah. That was yeah. So First Blood was initially a book, and the way the book ends, Rambo gets like he gets killed by the cops basically is what happens.
Oh, good lord.
Like that's that's the way the book ends. But then when they were when they were making it into a movie, they filmed the scene where he gets like, where he basically gets like brutally murdered by the cops. And the test audience, like the test audiences did not like it, and the executives running the studios, I think it was Paramount, if I remember, they were like listen, you guys have to like change that, otherwise like we won't, you know we won't like finish financing this movie, or whatnot. It's like, change the ending so like he lives,
And we
or
can make more
else.
money from it.
So yeah, well, and that's what ended up happening, and then like, so the movie came out and it did really well, and then when they went to do like Rambo Part 2, they called up the author and was like, you know, "Hey David, can you help us write a script for, Part 2?" And he was kind of like, "Well, I well, I'd love to, but like honestly, like I don't really know." Like it took him a couple of years because like he was like, "Well, like I originally killed the character off in the book, so like I don't know how I'm gonna, bring him back or whatnot." But they did, and it's kind of a fascinating story, I guess. But yeah,
Damn, now I'm
so
going to see Rambo in a whole new light.
yeah, I'll send you some interview links. It's quite fascinating.
That is
But
really interesting, actually. I didn't know that at all about Rambo. It wasn't my favorite
yeah,
series at all, but I mean, it was epic for those were like what 80s movies.
yeah.
Pretty epic. He was doing that in between Rocky movies, so
Yeah, and like that was the other thing too, was like he originally wrote like Sylvester Stallone like originally like wrote Rocky as like a one-time, thing, and
right.
never expected it to be like, you know, like I guess he had like the idea for part 2 kind of, but like part of the reason why the films after, after Rocky 2, part of the reason why they got so silly and campy in the '80s was because, like, he was literally just, like, making stuff up kind of as they went.
Yeah, but at least
So
they were good. He got to fight Clubber Lang. He got to fight a Russian. Then he got to fight an American boy, and then he got to fight as an old guy, and then he had to train Creed's son a couple times, and now we have a Creed series. I mean, I'm sure it was
Yeah,
all unexpected from back in the day, but he did a really good job with that initially. So, what can you
yeah,
say?
no,
Joe Stallone. Now
yeah,
he's
no,
Tulsa King.
yeah, no, Tulsa King is actually like surprisingly good too. I
Even
will,
my wife watches that. She loves it. Stallone as a
yeah,
freaking mobster. That's perfect.
yeah. I mean that is perfect. But then to like have him in like Oklahoma of all places, like like as like it shouldn't work, but it does completely. So.
Absolutely. I know. I binged that, and after I ran out of Reacher episodes,
Oh man, I still need to I watched the first season of Reacher and I loved it. I could not get into I could not get into like the second season of Reacher though. I
trying to think of the
think.
main overall
So
plot. I know they're doing another season. Season 3 was better than season 2, definitely. Um, I see what you're saying though. Season 2 wasn't as good, but yeah, I did
yeah,
like it just because it's like fucking Hulk. He's like the Hulk. That guy is pretty awesome, actually.
yeah, well and I mean the actor who plays him like does a real like and I've actually like Reacher is the one book series that I haven't read, just because, like, I don't know, I think I that was one of those books where, like, I tried to read it and, like, I couldn't get into, like, the way like, I like the concept, but the way the author, like, wrote it's like his writing style, like, I just couldn't get in to it, but, like, yeah, the show definitely, I think, does, like, a good job, like, if you like, I like the whole concept of, like, a wandering nomad. The only thing I don't the only thing is kinda like, it's like, how does that guy stay, like, so buff for essentially being, like, a hobo?
For being a
Like,
hobo eating
he's
candy bars all the time. Like he literally snacks all the time. And he never gets to
well, yeah,
finish his
but
meal because he's about to get into a fight.
well, yeah, but he's also, like, always he's also always, like, clean shaven too, and it's like, and and I'm over here, like, I've got, a scruffy beard and, like, you've got
Right. You got to remember though, he also has military discipline. Somehow he's getting that shave time in there.
yeah,
Like
probably
he
doing
is a
that.
literal autistic military retard. So somehow he gets that shit in there. So
Yeah,
I watched Reacher
yeah.
after I watched the Tom Cruise movies because I mean they were okay. I mean, you look at the two different Reachers and you're like, okay, well the series is definitely better. I didn't mind the movies. Even my wife was like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." And then I was like, "Well, they got a series about this same character," so we started watching it, and it's like, "Wow, that's really fucking good."
That's what I've heard, uh, actually, is that the Reacher series is that the Tom Cruise movies are actually, like, somewhat decent.
I
So
mean, it's Tom Cruise. He's a good looking guy on screen. I
oh,
haven't
yeah.
really seen a movie where he's been bad. because he's kind of a dick in real life, but he's definitely a good actor.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like also though, like this was kind of one of the things Charlie Sheen's been doing a lot of podcasts lately.
Yeah,
And
he has.
it's been funny to see, but like he brought up a point when he was on Rogan that like I didn't really consider it, but it kind of makes a lot of sense, which was like I think he and Tom Cruise are both like around the same age, but they both started when they were like when they were both like teenagers, and like when you become super famous like at that, at like a super young age,
Right.
like I would imagine that like I would imagine that even if you don't like intend to become like a dick, I, I don't know if you like
Let's not forget that Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, and that shit is weird in itself.
yeah.
And
Also,
Charlie Sheen was just a hooker loving drug addict who was Martin Sheen's
Yeah,
son.
well, yeah, well, like he's the one he at least he's been honest about it though too. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
you know, it's like it's like there are other celebrities who it's like, they claim to like live a virtuous life and it's like, mm, I don't like extra doubt there, you know? So,
That's fair.
what were you gonna say, Tim?
I was going to go ahead and say the only reason why he is who he is that his attitude is short, along with him being short.
Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and
He's like my height.
that's the one thing about Reacher. Like in the book, from what I heard, Reacher was a big dude.
Yeah, like yeah, well, and that's the other thing too, is like Reacher is really hard to cast because like in the books the dude is like a little I mean, I Max could have actually like played Reacher really well, like in all honesty.
Yeah.
So,
I I don't think
um
so. He will never cut off that beard and or also like cut his hair.
well, I mean, yeah, there's listen, Max is also too rebellious because like the director would try and give him direction, and Max would be like, "Fuck you! You can't tell him what to do."
You'd be amazed at how
So,
attached you get to your beard, Tim. Grow one out and you'll
oh
be
no,
like, oh man,
No, it's
I
something
love
that
it.
like I get really in this weird awkward phase, and when it just gets too itchy, I can't deal with it. Shave it off. I'm done with it. And then all like the
no, you,
food and everything else gets in between. And I'm like, I'm done. No, I like my 5 o'clock shadow.
That's fair.
yeah, no, I'm, I'm the same. I'm the same way. Um, I'm the same way to an extent, but then also it's like if when I'm shaving and like it's a little too smooth, like that feels weird like as well. So.
My wife would prefer it, but I'm like, I'm keeping the beard. It just is what it is. And she stays married to me, so I'm happy with that.
I think part of the reason why I think part of the reason why I've kept my beard subconsciously is because like the last time I was like really truly clean shaven, I was dating this girl in college still, and she was like, "You look like a child, and I don't want to be seen in public with you because I don't want people thinking that like that I'm like grooming you or something, and I'm like,
Wow. Yeah, but chicks are shallow, Sam.
Yeah,
No, 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 they really are, but it's like wow. So I look that young without my beard. So
You
like
can't win. Either you look too old, or you don't look right, or you look too young. You're never gonna win, Sam.
I was told I look 25 though today. So like I'll take that. So um you know
congratulations. That's a good compliment.
25.
yeah
You're
I
that's
I
good. I
just
wish someone told me I look 25, but it ain't gonna happen. I could
you
trim this down, and I might get like 30.
you do look 35, Joe.
Hey,
So
I'll take it. I'll take it.
but
Amen to
you
that.
Yep.
but you look like a Florida man 35 to be fair. So
Florida man, 35. All right. I don't know what that
you
means.
you
So,
you you look like one of my friends that I go drinking with that I
hey,
hung out with in college.
we're online on Whitfield Report drinking right now. So, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
we got
I
way
mean,
off topic. That's okay.
Yep.
hey,
Speaking of,
it's free for all
Free for
it's
all
free for all
Friday.
Friday.
free for all Friday, baby. By the way, I'm gonna have to cut myself early a little bit. I, you know what? I will say,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I was gonna go ahead and say with everything that's going on in the world, just remember to go ahead and like be with your people, be with the people that you know and love. Talk to other people. Just try to go ahead and go on the other side of the aisle. Even when to these bastards who want to go ahead and get attention seeking behavior, I think a lot of people are just going to get sick with it. And you know what? People don't want to deal with it. So I am, like I said, there's been a couple times where I said I'm very, very quite hopeful that this stuff will just be subsided. I think a lot of people are like getting tired of the bullshit, whether it's through like the Antifa and the ICE Antifa over in like the major metropolitan cities. You know, we want to go ahead and have law and order again. We need to go ahead and have law and order again. And also, I think we just need to go ahead and restore our communities back together. So I'm excited and I'm hopeful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man.
I agree with
Where are
that.
you at? Where are you at, by the way? It sounds like you're at a party or something.
Yeah, I'm actually over at a punk show.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So,
So I was hanging out just out the outside so that I can actually talk to you guys and uh, just try to do the
well,
show while trying to do it.
I appreciate it, Tim.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
that's cool, man.
fuck yeah. I'll
Do
talk
you
to you
have
guys later.
do you have all right? Sounds good. Do you have a lady friend or what's going on?
Just another friend. He said, "Hey, you want to go ahead and see this band?" I don't know if anybody has ever heard of them. The Circle Jerks.
I have. I've
Uh,
heard of them.
yep, yep. So it is their last tour. It's like their farewell tour. So might as well come down up there and go watch them. And I mean, it's
Yeah,
good
dude,
proper punk.
go have a good time, man. Go be with your
All right,
people. Go have a good time.
Yeah.
all right. I will talk to you guys
Oh
later.
yeah, yeah. Have have fun,
God
man.
bless, Timmy.
So,
Yeah. God bless y'all.
alrighty. And yeah, we're almost at an hour. So
We're getting there.
just any I mean, Joe, do you have any topics Well, I mean, I suppose this would be a good time to ask you, like, what like you've kind of been in some interesting circles. Like, how did you first meet Morpheus? I guess so.
It was on Twitter when it was still called Twitter. Um, there was this mutual that we had, kind of a Bible thumper kind of guy, and he was retweeting Mort's posts like with the cats and some of his strong opinions. I was like, yeah, all right, well, I'm gonna follow this guy because I like what he's saying. And then we started talking like some Bible stuff. Because I noticed he wasn't like anti-Bible, but he wasn't like Bible thumper. So I started talking to him, and he told me about your guys' show, so I started listening to that.
Which which
That
I really
was that
appreciate,
was
by the
about
way.
that was about a little over 2 years ago. So I've been listening to you guys for like 2 years on the Whitfield Report, and we've been doing bits and bones for over a year now. So
Yeah, that is true. So, um, well, kind of about that though, with the whole like, with kind of the whole like Bible thing. Like, I don't know, I don't know if you feel this way, but like, I so one of the things, kind of like in regards to the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Like, obviously, the whole thing is horrific and should have happened in the first place.
absolutely
But
not.
one of the things I guess that has kind of driven me a bit crazy is I've noticed a lot of Christians, like, they well, to put it like bluntly, I'll just be honest. Like, I've seen some Christians out there, like, basically like comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus, basically. And to me, like, that, like, I understand what some of them are trying to get at with, like, the fact that he's like a martyr for Christendom. Like,
I,
I get that there's that. I get that that he was, like, very strong in his faith, and I applaud that. But it's like, it's one thing to recognize someone for, basically dying for their faith, right? It's another
yeah,
to basically like put them in the same category as being Jesus, like, or being exactly like Jesus. Like, I knew Charlie Kirk somewhat in his early days, and
right.
like, no disrespect, but like, I can tell you this, as awesome as the guy was, like, he was flawed as well, and like, like, even he would say that probably. Like,
Yeah.
I think I think some of the comparisons to Jesus are, like, honestly a little bit absurd,
And
y
that's
you
one of
know?
the things I have my whole thing with online stuff. Even the Christians, they drive me crazy as much as the left does because they're all fucking nuts. They all think it's the end of days, and I don't know if you know my personal beliefs. I don't think that at all. I think it's all they're using the Bible as a like script, but
Yeah. Well I yeah, I don't know. So, you and I kind of the same belief. I am like, I've read like, I wouldn't say that I've read the Bible, like, in depth, cover to cover, like some people have. Like, I've read, enough, and I've read different versions, and the one thing that is, like, pretty consistent like, a lot of Bible thumpers overlook is that nobody knows when the end is coming. Like, even Christ says that he doesn't know when the
right.
end is
And you would, yeah,
coming.
and this could go in a whole different direction, but you would think that if he was God, you would think that he would know. But I mean, I have this very abstract view on things. I'm still a Christian. I believe in Christ. He was a Messiah. I believe in God. But I think the Bible was written to a different group of people in the past, and that we're living in something that they're trying to make happen right now. It's not up to us. It was up to him to
Yeah,
do what he had to do. And it was up to God. He had his timing, and that whole no man knows the day of the hour, that actually coincides with one of the Jewish feasts from 2,000 years ago. So, I mean, we could
right.
get into it on a whole nother thing, but the no man knows the day of the hour is one of the feasts because if they had to tell when the new moon, that, I mean, Christians will just take anything and just, they have better conspiracies than anyone. I mean, I've read
Yeah,
so many different views, it's
yeah.
quite ridiculous.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, like, like, this whole thing with, like, with, like, Candace Owens now, like, also saying that, like, she's, like, saying that she's seen, like, Charlie Kirk has come to her in dreams and, like, said that, and,
You
like,
know,
supposedly he
I
said
have
that.
weird dreams too, but I'm not going to go online and tell
Yeah.
people about them.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, like, I have weird dreams too. I'm not going to claim that, like, my dreams are evidence that, like, like, something,
Right.
like.
The mind is a powerful thing, Sam. It's a really powerful
Yeah.
thing. And you get an image in your head from a movie and you're going to have a dream about it.
Well, it's like, it's like, as much as I hate to say it, like, Candace Owens, like, she is an anti-Semite, and so, like, if you already have that predisposition, right? And so
Right.
basically, like, she went on her podcast the other day and said something like, well, Charlie came to me in a dream and said, that the Jew, that it was the Mossad that killed him. So therefore, because of that, like, that's proof that, that I was right about the Mossad. And it's like, no, it's like, nah, that's just you, like, basically, like, trying to confirm your, you know,
Presuppositions.
bias.
I mean,
And
I get what you're saying about Candace. I get what you say about Fuentes. Uh, they're a little bit out there. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that they are out there. They are more concerned with having an influence on a lot of people. Hey, you know what? Christ said to love each other. That's what he
yeah,
said.
I
That's what he
yeah.
said. Don't vilify people. Love your enemies. Forgive everyone 100 times 100. And we're all failing at that. Well, not most people are failing at that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, even I, like, this is one of the things where, like, I said I really admire, like, Charlie's widow, like, Erica, because she forgave,
Exactly.
Charlie's killer. And
Whoever
in
the
and
guy
and in
was,
that
if it
and
was that dude or if it was somebody else, whatever conspiracies out there, whoever pulled that trigger and shot Charlie, his widow forgave him.
well, and in that sense, like, I haven't said this on air, like, I'm not afraid to say this, but, like, in that sense, she's a better Christian than I am because, like, I knew him, but, like, obviously, like, I didn't know him as well as, she did. I mean, she was his wife, and, like, I'm not even fully ready you know, to forgive him yet. Like, I'm still angry, and, like, as I said on the show, like, will I be ready to forgive him one day? Hopefully, but, like, I wasn't ready. Like, she forgave him like 2 weeks after, you know, after the assassination too, which is incredible, honestly.
She's definitely
Um,
better than a lot of Christians out there because they are tooth and nail,
yeah,
vengeful, spiteful assholes. And that includes Candace, and that includes Nick. Uh, it includes a majority of Christians out there. They're
yeah.
just so vengeful.
Well, it's like I had a pastor who like I had a pastor when I was growing up, and I knew him like pretty well into my teen years too. He really s- he really told me that, like, he said the best way to preach to others isn't so much to like preach to them, but just to live the example that you would, to like live um, your best example, like, that you can. Like, not just in public, but just, when you don't think anyone one is watching either, and, like, that really, spoke to me. So, like, I know people, like, say, "Oh, Sam, like, you're such a nice guy," and it's like, "Well, I try to be. I'm not perfect," but it's like, I'm not trying to preach at other people, how they should live. It's like, if I can be decent to people and whatnot,
Exactly.
like,
That's exactly what it's about, Sam. Being
yeah.
good to other people. It has nothing to do with rituals or taking drinking a thing of wine once a month or going to a priest or whatever. It's how you live your life and how you treat other people. Are you going to treat them
Yeah.
good or are you going to treat them bad? Even if they say one mean thing, if I told you, Sam, to fuck off in a very mean way, would you still be nice to me? I mean, if I insulted you, said you're a dumb cripple, not saying that I would say that, would you
No,
still treat
no.
me,
Yeah.
that's just an example. Like, no matter what someone,
I might
like, you might have to draw a line and be like, oh, just bite your tongue and walk away for a minute, but turn around eventually and say, hey, dude, whatever you're going through, it's cool, man.
well, I'll be honest, like, and I think I've shared this with you, like, my father's, like, super far on the left, and he's like one of these people who, tends to, as far as I can tell, like, hate Christianity because, unfortunately, like, I do think he's had, like, some negative interactions with these Bible thumpers, and I can see where he comes from, right? And, like, I think it's unfair that he kind of projects some of that onto me with, like, being a Christian and being a conservative, but at the same time, he's kind of like a perfect example of, like, like, "Dad, like, I don't necessarily understand, like, why, you and mom had, like, your disagreements. I don't understand, um, certain things about your lifestyle right now or, all of your beliefs and values, but, like, I still love you and, like, we might not see eye to eye."
Right.
Um, but, like,
I struggle with the same fucking thing with people that have issues with
yeah.
Christianity or faith at all. Like guys like James Lindsay, you know how many times a day I see people retweeting that atheist asshole and his anti woke right crap. I just want to tell that guy to F off all the time. But I'm not going to. Because to me it's just like it's just not worth it. He's not gonna listen. He thinks he's so smart, but what's a is it really worth it for me to tell him to F off? No, it's not.
Well, yeah. Like, and that's the other thing too, is, like, if this is the other thing I've learned, like, in all my years of podcasting, like, if someone is willing to, like, have, like, a good faith, like dialogue or whatever, then yeah, like if you're willing to have a conversation, like I've said this before, and I'll say it again, like I'm willing to have a conversation with anyone about like anything if they're willing to have like a good faith conversation.
Right.
But then if they try and like like play gotcha games or like or like Paul or like move all these goalposts, then like then it's not worth it, you know.
Yeah, and
So
I don't know who's better at moving goalposts, the left or the right now, because they both do it. I'd say the
yeah, I
left
mean, yeah,
mostly, but the right does it a whole lot too.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they have, and it's like, but that's like one of the other things too, is um it's like that's why I never like that's why I didn't stay with Turning Point necessarily. It wasn't even necessarily because of Charlie Kirk himself. It was because other people around him were like, were kind of like, moving goalposts and whatnot. And it's like in some ways I get it because they were like it is a business and they were trying to go in like a direction, and it's like more power to them. But it's like in another sense, like um things have kind of changed. So, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Was it more of just like a like go out and talk to people thing back in then? Or was it more of like a religious spiritual thing?
well, I mean, back when I joined, like the main thing was mainly like free markets, and like we want people to know about like the Constitution and whatnot.
Right.
Like the whole the whole culture war, I guess, wasn't really a thing back then until like really 2016. Um,
Well,
and
that's when
like
it really boiled over with Trump, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, well, and I mean, like, that was the other thing too, is it was like it and, like, I'm not saying this as, like, as, like I'm not saying this to, like, say anything bad about Charlie, but it's like, I was a Trump supporter before Charlie Kirk was, like, when I was and, like, I wasn't even, like, a total Trump supporter, like, out of all the people I know who are, like, OG Trump supporters, Max is truly the OG day one Trump supporter that I know,
I
and,
can see
like,
that.
I respect him for that, and it's like, yeah, it's like, I can't even claim that, and it's like for people to kind of rewrite, history and be like, Charlie Kirk was the day one, Trump supporter. It's kind of like, no, he wasn't. But it's like I'm not going to. It's like I'm not going to go out there and say that either, though, because it's like that just makes me look petty, and if I do, and um,
Right. Like I didn't know
like
who any of these other people, any of these other influencers, I didn't know until after we got locked down. Like that first term
yeah,
of Trump's, I didn't really pay attention. Sam, I haven't been able to vote since 2008, so I don't give a shit. Like, honestly, I didn't know a whole lot of shit until after March of 2020.
yeah. Well, I would imagine if you can't vote, like, yeah, you wouldn't give a shit if you didn't have if you really didn't have to then. So, well, and I mean, like, that's the other thing. It's like this whole influencer culture is like,
I hate it.
it's
I
like
fucking hate it.
I I hate being called an influencer. It's like yeah, I'm an author, and it's like, yeah, it's like I'm an author and I'm a podcast. Am I really like when people say that, oh, you're an influencer, it's like I hate that term because it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I might influence someone, but like I'm not it's like my work might influence people, but it's like I myself am not an influencer. So
You're a guy that has a show on Wednesday nights and you write some books. You haven't necessarily influenced me, but I've listened
yeah.
to you talk to your friends about stuff that's going on. But then these influencers, like thousands of thousands of people on their social media, and they just say shit, and people just like bite into it like a fucking trout.
Yeah, it gets and like I'll tell you, like I have had like one or two people who like, in the past who have kind of like, you know, they kind of have like glommed on me and they think that like everything I say is brilliant and whatnot. And it's like that's weird too. It's like it's like when you get people that just like suck up to you like that, like it's weird. So
It is like the guy, the Bible people that I study from, I can agree with them on 90% of stuff. Then that 10% is just like that makes a big difference. To me, it does. Like there's
yeah.
this one big point that like I like everything else you said, but there's this one point that you have. Piss off with that. But
Well,
I'm sure there's stuff that you and I disagree on, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna vilify you about it. You're
yeah,
not
well, like,
influencing me like those people are, or trying
well,
to anyway.
it's also like okay, that's the other thing too. It's like, okay, we may agree on 90% of things. If you disagree with me on 10% of something, like I'm cool with that.
We're doing all
It's
right.
the people it's the people who obsess over like, oh, well, you don't agree with me 100%. Well, let me hammer on and on about about this, one thing that you don't, and it's like I'm not it's
Or
like I
let's
don't
sit
want to
down and
talk to
talk
you if
about that one thing. A lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to
yeah.
talk about that one thing that you disagree on, or it gets to the point where you do talk about it and you just want to punch each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it's like I'm willing to and it's like, yeah, regarding that one thing, like I am willing to talk to people about, whatever that may be, but it's like just know that like even after the conversation, like I still might not agree with you, and like that's fine. And if I do come around, like, more props to you and vice versa. But if not, okay, we've had the conversation. We know that we're not going to yeah, we know that we're not gonna get along. So let's just
But you
agree to
can
disagree.
respectfully disagree and still get along in life.
Well, well, yeah. Well, at least you used to be able to, but now
Good.
now
It's very
now it
rare.
now it's hard to. It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like there are, believe it or not, like liberals that I get like that I get along with pretty well. Like, and none of them were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death either. So, but yeah, it's interesting times. So
That's for sure. That's
so
absolutely for sure.
but anyway, man, well, we've been on for about an hour and I've got a friend who's trying to call me. But anyway, I just figured
Rock
I
and
would
roll.
put on this show for you guys impromptu. So,
Well, thanks for doing that, Sammy. I appreciate it. It was good to chat with you. on a different level than just gaming.
Oh yeah, and believe me, I would love to have you on, on a Monday show or something like that whenever you're game. So
Let me know. We can do it.
yeah. So alrighty, well, folks, we really appreciate it, especially for like a Friday night. If any of you have popped in here, really appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you guys are watching this live, we appreciate it. If you guys are listening to this in the future, we also appreciate it. So hopefully next week, Bits and Bones will be back. But I'll definitely be back on Monday with hopefully a guest, and then the Monday show as always. So thanks for tuning in, and take care, and God bless everyone.
God bless you guys.
So.
The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigation